Hey Blades fans, I'm Alli Vellucci alongside Jake Maurice, and welcome to our pregame show back in Hertz Arena. Jake, coming into this one a little tired. We're closing out the 3-3 weekend here at home. 2 days of travel for the guys, but they have a little bit of jump in their step coming into this one. 7-4, they took the game last night. 7 goals between the two teams in the first period. At what point did you see Florida just take off with the game?
Well, it was certainly a fun game overall. And first off, before they could take off, it was very important that they didn't allow Orlando to build their lead up to more than 2 goals. Florida being able to crawl themselves back into it step by step, very important, not allowing the game to get out of hand. Where Florida, they first started to take over early in the second period when they got 2 power play goals on back-to-back man advantages in the first 3 minutes, gave themselves their first lead of the night, and you could see it really kind of shocked Orlando, their players. They'd been leading the whole game. They'd been all over the Everblades on the special teams. In Florida, their power play has not been great this year, so all of a sudden coming through in a big way, and it put Florida out front. It seemed like Orlando was a little bit shocked by that. And then they really took over, though, when they scored that power play goal with 36 seconds left in the second period. All of a sudden, going into the dressing room with a 2-goal lead instead of a 1-goal lead, scoring 3 power play goals in a period and in a game for the first time this season. You could see it really just boosted the confidence of the guys. And then in the third period, they were able to lock things down and pick up a wild 7-4 victory to get back in the win column.
Cam Darcy, hero of the night, a hat trick and an assist. He's, again, one of those guys that can kind of fly under the radar for a little bit, go a couple games without getting on the score sheet, and then pulls through when you need him to. What stood out to you about his game last night?
Yeah, well, he was just excellent, right? He was the best player on the ice, scoring in different ways, shots, deflections, all that good stuff. Cam Darcy is a guy, he didn't start the season with the Everblades. He was on the IR to begin the year, and it looks like he got into the lineup, and, you know, it always takes guys some time to readjust themselves into a new system. Never mind when you have to do it mid-season without the benefit of skating through training camp with the guys. And here, Cam Darcy recently, he's really started to just mold himself perfectly into the system. He's building nice chemistry with some guys. Stephen LeBlanc had an assist on Cam Darcy's hat-trick goal where the two of them just had a really quick and crisp connection to lead to that goal, which sealed the game away for Florida, really took any chance of an Orlando comeback away. So Darcy, it's just that now he's starting to finally really get himself into the team, where earlier in the season he was just building himself up personally so that he could get to the level he wants to play at. Now he's getting himself at that level. He's playing with the guys around him in a beautiful way, and it's really working out like yesterday for the Florida Everblades.
Let's talk the red hot power play, something that we all know has been a little bit of a struggle for the Florida Everblades this season, but they got 3 last night against Orlando, something that they've kind of been finding a little momentum with. What did you like about it last night?
Well, just that they were scoring in multiple different ways. They got 2 of their goals off of deflections, and then they were also able to get a goal just with a clean shot. They were able to get goals from both power play units, and it was some different guys. Normally on the power play, we'd be looking at a guy like Jake Smith or Robert Callisti to get the goal. There, it was Blake Winicky scored one of them. James McEwen got another on a nice deflection, and Cam Darcy as well scoring a power play goal. So 3 different guys who normally are more of setup guys or guys who just screen out front. They're the ones contributing on the power play, and that's what you need. You need different guys to come through on your man advantage for Florida. Scoring those 3 goals in the second period on the man advantage certainly was great to see, something that's been missing all season, the power play being a reason that the team wins a game rather than the reason they fall short. But tonight here, you have to continue it, because there have been times where Florida's had success on the power play on a game-by-game basis, but they haven't consistently followed it up. So that's what they need to do here tonight.
You mentioned Jake Smith, 8 shots for him in the game last night and only 1 assist. As crazy as that sounds, a 1-point game is not what we're used to seeing from him. He's normally a multiple-point game kind of guy. Where do you see him fitting into tonight's game?
Well, he's going to be a big factor on the power play, as he always is. He's a shot that you have to respect from the left side, and that helps open up some of the plays that Florida was able to get last night. Apart from that, he'll be at his regular spot, I believe, on the right wing, contributing well on whatever line he's on offensively, continuing to work on his defensive game as head coach Brad Ralph wants him to. But yeah, Smith, ever since being acquired from Norfolk earlier this year, he's really fit in well with the team, gives him an extra dangerous weapon to work with, which is important right now with the guys they have out with injuries and with call-ups to Charlotte. A guy like Jake Smith being able to be there on a night-by-night basis, where even if he's not having the greatest game, you can rely on him to go out and get 8 shots for your team. That gives you a really good chance to win.
Back to special teams talk. It's essentially going to be a battle of the PKs tonight. Orlando in 25th place in the league at 73.2%. Florida in 26th place at 73%. There's not much separating the two teams right now. What exactly needs to be Florida's focus in order to be the winner on the PK tonight?
Yeah, it was weird to see them struggle last night as compared to Wednesday. Wednesday, they're going up against Jacksonville, who's one of the best power play teams in the league. They shut them out on 3 tries. yesterday night against Orlando, who's a lower down team on the power play. They give up 3 goals and drop below Orlando in the penalty kill rankings. Florida, they need to get better on their clears. Orlando, all 3 of their power play goals, but all of them in the first period, came within the first minute of their power plays. 2 of them came within the first 30 seconds, where Orlando was just able to quickly set themselves up and get the chance they wanted and bury it. So you win those opening draws, you get the clear, and then you make sure you stand up your own blue line as best you can. Obviously, when you're down a man, it's going to be a lot easier for teams to enter, but if you can force them to slow down and go to the boards where you can pressure them, force them to dump it in, force them to make a pass that goes off target, then that gives you a chance to get the puck right back down the ice. Florida wasn't doing that. Orlando was taking the draws, quickly establishing, and then scoring in the first period. Florida did get better on the PK throughout the game. They had a really big kill at the start of the third period to keep their 2-goal lead at the time intact. So more of what we saw in the last 3 power play or penalty kills, for Florida is what we're going to need to see. Definitely not what we saw in the first 3 of the game last night.
Standout performances besides Cam Darcy, we already talked about him. Stefan LeBlanc, 3 assists. James McKeown and Blake Winicky, a goal and assist. How important is it at this point in the season to be getting contributions from your 3rd and 4th lines?
It's huge because right now Florida's not at their full strength lineup. You've got Morrison and Franco still up with Charlotte, and then you have a whole bunch of important pieces, guys like Mike Neville, Nathan Steos, Bobo Carpenter, all still out with injuries. So you really need to have as many guys contributing as you can possibly get. Florida, especially with the way their lineup is right now, they're not going to win based off a one-man performance. Even last night, yes, Cam Darcy had a hat trick, but the team still needed to get 4 goals to help them out to make sure they could win over Orlando. So Florida, with their current situation, you need contributions from all up and down the lineup every single night. You need multiple guys rolling well, coming into the game feeling good about themselves. And here tonight, yes, you're coming in, you've played 3 games in 3 days, but so is Orlando. This is their first one on the road. So you need to take advantage of that, jump on them early. Final home game, final game in general of the year. It's been an excellent 2022. You want to finish it off the right way.
All right, we're going to bring back some of our pregame show mojo, call out a specific standout player for tonight. Jake, who you got?
Oh, boy. For tonight, I'm going to be looking at Ben Masella. It's his 2nd game back from injury, 1st game back here at home. He's a huge piece on the back end. Didn't have any points last night, but he was out there defending his teammates when they needed him to stand up for them. He's very important in the locker room, so it's great to see him out there tonight. I'd love for him to have a big game.
I'm going to go Robert Calisti. A goal last night for him. He just got sent back from Charlotte. I think he kind of has an itch to prove himself here, so I'm going to go with him. All right, Jake, we know tonight's going to be an interesting and physical game. What are your 3 keys to tonight's game?
Well, the first key, we talked about it quite a bit, improving that PK. Your power play, you just want to keep that going, but the PK definitely has to be better. It's shown that it can be better against Orlando and throughout the season, so I'm expecting a big improvement there. Also, Florida wants to continue getting goals off of takeaways. A couple of times yesterday, Florida was quickly able to steal the puck inside of their opponent's zone and get it into the back of the net. The early goal by Pendenza in the first period that at the time tied the game, Cam Darcy's hat trick goal, both generated off stealing the puck away from a Solar Bears player inside of the Orlando zone, so you definitely want to keep that going. And then third, you just mentioned it, the physicality. There was some nastiness at the end of that game. No fights, but these 2 teams, they have no problems dropping the mitts against each other. We've seen fights between these 2 teams this season, and given the quick turnaround, the way the game ended with some of the physicality between guys like Cole Moberg and Luke Boca for Orlando, wouldn't surprise me if we see some fireworks here tonight to end the year.
All right, Blades fans, we're closing out 2022 with a bang. Get loud, warm-ups, and puck drop are up next.